From the Siouxland News Studios in HD, the Wayne State Coaches Show with Jordan Furby starts now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Wayne State Coaches Show. I'm Jordan Furby, and joining us, as always, this week is the head coach of the Wildcat football team, Dan McLaughlin. Coach, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate the opportunity.
Well, Coach, we'll talk about the big win over Augustana in just a little bit, the 10-7 win over Augustana, but obviously many people's minds on Wayne, Nebraska this week after the devastating tornadoes last week. Let's just talk about kind of where you were last Friday and kind of just take us through kind of what was happening with last Friday.
Well, it's really kind of odd. On Friday nights on home games, we're out recruiting, and we treated the Sioux Falls game or the Augustana game up in Sioux Falls as a home game. We traveled the same day. Mm-hmm. And so Friday night, my wife and I were actually in Lincoln, and the weather was fine down there, and we kept getting these text messages and stuff that, are you okay, and is everything all right? And we didn't know what all that meant. And I finally got a phone call from a friend of mine who lives in Pierce, which is 30 miles west of Wayne, and he said, do you need a place to stay tonight? And I said, why? And he says, well, a major tornado hit the dead center of Wayne. And so we started calling our friends and family in Wayne, and the cell phones were out, and so we couldn't get any information. So it was kind of scary there for a while, and until we found out finally that what had happened, and it's just a really a devastating thing.
It's devastating, but I mean, thankfully, no one was no fatalities, nobody was terribly injured, which is a good thing. Was there any reaction among the team? I mean, how did you kind of get a hold of the team, and did you guys ever discuss maybe?
The team was actually in a team meeting. Had just gotten out of a team meeting with two of our staff members prior to the tornado sirens going off. So they just held them there at the stadium, mm-hmm. Which is a shelter, and so that was all fine. And of course, this all happened before I even knew what had gone on. Yeah. But they were good. Everything worked out well there. And of course, the tornado skirted south and east of the city, and so it followed Logan Creek from southwest to northeast, and so there was no damage on campus or anything like that.
Yeah, very thankful that it went that way, because I know a lot of people had said that it was kind of coming up Main Street, and if it had done that and not veered off to the east, it could have been a lot more tragic.
Well, there's no could have about it. It would have destroyed the whole town, because it was coming up Highway 15, and for some reason diverted along Logan Creek and turned northeast and missed the majority of the city. The industrial park area on the east side of town was, as you can see from the pictures, it looks like a bomb hit out there and destroyed several businesses. And there were no fatalities, thank Lord. But a friend of ours, an employee at Wayne State College, John Dunning, was actually hit by a dumpster. Oof. And was hurt very seriously, but he is recovering and doing better, and so that's great news. And we were just very, very fortunate.
Absolutely. Buildings and items can be replaced, but lives can't.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, it seems that when these kind of tragedies happen, people will often rally around sports, and you guys kept going with the game, played on Saturday, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Cats' 10-7 win over Augustana coming up. We'll also check in on the Wayne State volleyball team in Wayne State 360, presented by Northeast Nebraska Insurance. We'll also preview tonight's opponent, Southwest Minnesota State. That's all still to come. Stay tuned.
Siouxland News presents the Wayne State Coaches Show on Fox 44. Brought to you by the Diamond Center, State National Bank, Pack and Save, The Max, Arnie's Ford, Michael Foods, Northeast Nebraska Insurance, and Wayne State College and the Wayne State Foundation.
And welcome back. We're sitting here with Coach Dan McLaughlin. Coach, we talked about the road wins kind of being a theme among your team. Another road win last week against Augustana, 10-7. Talk about the first half a little bit. It seemed like you guys jumped out to a quick start and then kind of went on cruise control from there. You got a nice 36-yard field goal from Tyler Bash, and then Zach Osborne, another deep strike to Adam Stark, 80 yards for a touchdown. All of a sudden, you're up 10-0 real early.
Yeah, and it was a very windy day. And similar to last time we played up there, it was really windy. We scored 14 right away. We thought, here we go, and then you flip the field, and they got the wind, and it was 14-14. And so it was similar. Saturday, very windy day. We scored 10 right away, and we're thinking things are good. And then I just reminded everybody that, well, the wind is going to flip here in the second quarter. We don't want to give up a bunch of points and let them right back into it. We ran a bootleg, and Zach hit Adam deep for 80 yards, and we've done that a couple of times this year, and he's got great speed, and so we were able to hit it. But the defense held the second quarter. Offensively, we started to stall a little bit, hurt ourselves with some mistakes. Augustana has a very good defense. You got to tip your hat to them. They did a great job, and we went in 10-0 at halftime, which was not bad, no. but again, they're going to get the wind in the third quarter, and so you're still some concern there.
And I guess too, the big thing that you talked a little about, probably the offense maybe stalling out a little bit, and that's something to work on. But you have to be impressed with the defense. I mean, 2 big stops in the first half, especially in the red zone too. I mean, that's something that doesn't happen very often. You guys were able to do it twice.
Yeah, they did a great job. Mike Aldrich and the coaches, Scott McLaughlin, Zach Pfeffer, Thomas Wells, Darius Davis, had a great game plan. They did a great job all day. The kids played very, very hard, executed the game plan very well, and did an outstanding job all day long. The one stop in the red zone was actually a double stop because we stopped them, and they lined up to kick field goal on 4th and 3, and we jumped the snap count and gave them a first down. And so then they got another set of downs. We stopped them again, and they set up another field goal and missed it. And so that was a huge change in momentum for us right there.
Absolutely, and you take the 10-0 lead into the halftime, and then this is probably most impressive to me, in the third quarter, absolutely shut down D, didn't allow a single yard in the third quarter against Augustana. I mean, that's got to be every coach's dream. I don't think a lot of you can even dream about that.
Again, the kids played really, really well, and they flew to the ball, they made tackles, thought we had a great game plan, and they just did a great job. Offensively, we got a little conservative, I thought, and my fault. We're running the clock. We slowed the game down and tried to run the ball. They were putting 8 and 9 in the box, and we probably should have done more with the passing game in hindsight, but we hung in there, and again, the defense allowed us to do that.
And it's always nice. I mean, even though they cut it to 3 points, it's nice to be able to, your defense was clicking that well that you were able to lean on them even when the offense wasn't doing as well as you expected.
Yes, and then when they did cut it to 3, when they scored to make it 10-7, then the offense did kick in, and we got 3 first downs. So, with 4.5 minutes to play, we got 3 first downs. They burned all their timeouts, and when they got it back, there was less than 30 seconds to play, and they had the ball inside their own 10. So they had over 90 yards to go with no timeouts, and that was a credit to the offense coming up big at that point.
And you got the win. That's all that matters.
Absolutely.
All right, well, coming up after the break, we'll break down the stats of the game against the Vikings and get Coach's thoughts on the game. Stick around. And welcome back. We're here with Wildcat coach Dan McLaughlin talking about the Wayne State's 10-7 win over Augustana last Saturday. Coach, really a defensive struggle between both teams. Not a lot of yards gained compared to a couple of your past games. 294 for Augustana was the final yardage, 224 for yourself. Tough game on the ground, 36 yards rushing, but 188 yards passing. Zach Osborne, pretty great day. Had the 80-yard strike, which proved to be the game-winning touchdown. Just your initial early thoughts on the game.
Well, they loaded the box defensively to stop our run game. We were very conservative in our play calling. We were concerned about turning the ball over, which we did a great job of fixing that, at least for one game, and I hope that that's a trend now for us. Zach was great at picking and choosing in terms of throwing the ball. Had a couple of big first down passes. Again, on that last drive, we threw a screen pass to Charlie Davidson for 10 yards and a first down. It was a great play by Charlie. And then another out route to Tonev Abraham that got us another big first down in that last drive. So we were effective at times, just not consistently. But again, the defense held us in. Also, our special teams play was very, very good on Saturday. And so, in terms of a total team effort, I thought it was a really good job. And
I mean, anytime you can have one guy with double-digit tackles, it's a good day. You guys had two, Nick Monzu and Nathan Scott. Monzu had 11 tackles. Scott had 10 tackles. Really just a total team effort on the defensive side. We've been kind of beating a dead horse, but it goes without saying that they had a phenomenal game.
Yeah, they did. And Zach Bierman, I think, had 9 tackles and a pass breakup and a forced fumble and a sack. And he played really, really well. Jeff Vandentop had another great game. We made a change. We moved Abram Walker. He was our starting right tackle on offense. We moved him to defense. It was his first game in his life on defense, and
he forces a fumble.
Yeah, he kind of ran around.
First day.
But he's very athletic and can really run. And we've had problems generating a pass rush, and so we made that change to assist us in that area, and it did. It helped us, and he's only going to get better. So we're excited about that, and again, just hats off to the defense for a great job.
And it goes without saying that was the highlight of the game. The feather in your cap was the defense. The 3 red zone stops for the defensive side was the great part. As far as things that you can work on, it didn't seem like a whole lot. You kind of have shored up the turnover problem a little bit. Only 1 interception for Zach. No fumbles, which is nice. Maybe working on the offense, but I feel like the offense was probably just a product of this game as far as maybe why it wasn't clicking.
Yeah, and the interception was a batted ball. That wasn't his fault. So we can live with that. We need to do a better job running the ball. They were packing the box on us, and so we need to get outside. We can do that with option football. We chose not to run option because of the wind and the cold, and we didn't want to lay it on the ground. And so that made us kind of one-dimensional in terms of what we were trying to do. We're going to work on that this week and get that rectified. If we could have got outside, I think we would have opened up things a lot better for us. But we got things to build on, and it's a good win for Wayne State.
And when Augustana's loading the box like they were, they were trying to shut down Charlie. So that in turn can kind of.
And they did a great job. Again, you got to tip your hat to them. They had some very good players on defense, and they had a good scheme for us and did a great job. And but we were able to get through it, and now we move on.
Well, Coach, 5 games into the season, we're 2-3. What's kind of your initial impressions? I know a couple bumps to begin the season, but are you starting to sense maybe we've turned the corner?
Well, I hope so. I hope so, Jordan. We, if we don't turn the ball over, that's the key for us. If we don't turn the ball over, we can play with anybody. The turnovers is what's really hurt us. And this game didn't play great on offense, but we didn't turn it over. And so as long as we can do that, we're going to be there.
You don't need that many points, too, when your defense is playing that well.
That's true, yeah.
All righty, Coach. We'll appreciate it. Wayne State 360, presented by Northeast Nebraska Insurance, is coming up next. Don't go away.
Wayne State 360, a look at what's going on all around the Wildcat campus. Brought to you by Northeast Nebraska Insurance.
And welcome back to Wayne State 360. We are once again talking about the Wayne State volleyball team. Scott Kneiffel's group is now 12-3 on the year, going 1-1 in conference play last week. They picked up a win over MSU Moorhead with a loss to Northern State. The Wildcats also moved down 5 spots this week, took a big hit in the polls, moving down to number 15. Concordia St. Paul, the team who the Cats actually handed its only loss of the season, still remains number 1 this week. Really, the top 4 kind of stays the same. But as you see there on the schedule, a couple tough opponents that Wayne State had to face this week. They were at number 8 Kearney on Tuesday. They hosted Concordia St. Paul last night, so 2 top 10 opponents in this past week. The Wildcats will also are home this afternoon at 2 p.m. In Rice Auditorium versus Minnesota State. So good luck to Scott Kneiffel's group. Coach, coming back tonight, you guys play a nice 6 p.m. Game, kind of a little bit under the lights at Cunningham Field versus Southwest Minnesota State. It's a home game. It's the first game since the tornadoes. I'm sure a lot of heavy hearts are going to be on the mind playing for the city of Wayne. What are you kind of expecting with this game, with the emotions kind of running high and a good opponent?
Well, I expect a big crowd. You know, I think one thing about, I don't know that what we do is very important, but it does provide a diversion for people. You know, when things, natural disasters like this happen, people tend to try to gather and want to be together, and you know, and so I think it provides a little bit of a mental break for people, some entertainment, and I anticipate a big crowd, especially for an evening game. The game was moved to 6 o'clock to help Southwest because they wanted to drive the same day and be able to play, so that's what we're going to do. And you know, it'll be a great football game, and I anticipate a pretty good atmosphere for the people.
I know you guys both enter the game 2 and 3. What are going to be some strengths that you're going to try to use against them, and then what are some weaknesses you may need to work on against the team?
Well, I think it's more, you know, their strengths and their weaknesses. They have a fabulous offense. They have scored a lot of points on everybody. They had 37 points against St. Cloud State, which is a tremendous achievement. They had over 800 total yards last Saturday against Sioux Falls in a losing effort. They lost 55-47 in a game that was basically a track meet. Their offense, their quarterback is very good. Their running back is very good. They got 2 great receivers, and they spread the field, and they really get up and down. Their defense is suspect. They've given up a lot of points as well. So for us, what does that mean? Well, we have to be able to move the ball. We have to be able to maintain possession. The best offense is a good defense. The best defense is a good offense. So if we have the ball, they can't score because they're standing on the sidelines watching, and so that's key for us. Our defense has to come up with another great effort, obviously, and we can't turn the ball over. So. And it's kind of been that same way ever since the first game against Northern when we turned it over 4 times. And so if we do those things, I think we got a great shot. But our offense has to, I think, is the key to the game in how well we maintain possession and cap the possessions with points.
And you mentioned I was actually in Wayne earlier this week for the Wayne High School game, playing their game on Monday. It's amazing to see kind of what Mother Nature has done, but it's also nice to see how well the community, whenever a small town is hit with disasters like this, you kind of notice that they rally around disasters and they rally around their sports. And you guys have a chance to kind of provide that healing process, I guess, on Saturday.
Well, I hope so. You know, like I said, I don't know that what we do is very important in the grand scheme of things, but you know, hopefully we can be a part of it. And yeah, it was a devastating blow for sure, but we're very, very fortunate in that it wasn't a lot worse. And you know, people are the support and the offers of help from all over Northeast Nebraska, Northwest Iowa, Southeast South Dakota have just been amazing. People coming from all over to do anything they can to assist us, and that's one of the things that really manifests itself when you have something like that happen is how willing people are to jump in and help and do anything they can. And so hopefully we can be a small part of that and you know, do our job and help out.
Very well said. All right, Coach. Well, up next, we'll see what's in store for Wildcat Athletics this week. Plus, we'll get Coach's 3 keys to victory coming up next. And welcome back. Taking a look at Wayne State athletics for the week ahead. The women's soccer team will host Concordia St. Paul coming up tomorrow at 1 p.m. Then they are at the University of Mary this Friday coming up at 7 p.m. The women's volleyball team hosts Peru State this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. at Rice Auditorium. Then goes on the road for a pair of games at Upper Iowa on Friday at 7 p.m. and then at Winona State next week, next Saturday at 6 p.m. Coming back here with Coach McLaughlin. Coach, Southwest Minnesota State at home at Cunningham Field on this evening at 6 p.m. What are going to be your kind of keys to victory to get the win?
Well, the same old song and dance. We can't turn the ball over. Yep. We can't. Yeah, that's number one. We can't turn the ball over, and you know, against Augustana we didn't, and the results were reflected that. So we can't turn the ball over. Well, we need to find a way to run the ball. We've got to be more consistent running the football. We have a great back in Charlie Davidson. We've got to do a better job up front. I coach the offensive line, so that's strictly on my shoulders, and we've just got to do a better job of running the football and controlling the game with our offense. And then finally, you know, solid special teams play. We've had that the last couple of weeks. Our kickers have done a good job. Tyler Bash, as you mentioned, has done a great job as a freshman kicker. Sean McClure, our punter, had a good day against Augie. We need to do those things as well and cover kicks too. So don't turn the ball over. Find a way to run the ball and consistently run the ball and do a good job there, and then solid special teams play. And I think if we can do those three things, we got a great shot.
Absolutely. And just kind of touching again, I know we've kind of talked about the process of this team kind of growing up. With last game against Augustana, did you kind of think that, I know we've talked maybe this could be a turning point. Are we kind of witnessing this team maybe growing up?
I think so. I think so. I think the fire of the Duluth game, you know, we turned it over against a great team and got steamrolled, basically. You know, we changed up some things in practice. We did some different things the week before Augustana. Tried to go back to basics a little bit and work on fundamentals. And quite frankly, we did some things so that they could have more fun. You know, we've got a young team, and we got to remind them that football is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to enjoy this. And you know, so whether that made a difference in the result of the game at Augustana or not, I don't know. But we like that, and so we continue to do that this week, and hopefully the results are the same.
Absolutely, and you can use that defensive intensity that you guys found versus Augustana. Well, again, the Wayne State Wildcats will be at home versus Southwest Minnesota State this evening at 6 p.m. before going on the road next week at Winona State. Coach, I want to thank you again for sitting down with us, and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Jordan.
Best of luck this evening. That's going to wrap up the Wayne State Coaches Show. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week. Go Cats.